I love talking with people who are able to create a life by design. And in this conversation, Jamie Mixon Cure proves that you can build a business fueled by passion. If you're interested in learning how you can do that for yourself, check out the conversation.
Jamie Mixon Cure, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Jay.
Yeah, me and Courtney are excited. Courtney Fricky, of course, we do these real estate episodes with Courtney. And before we get into too much detail in the weeds, I just wanted to tell people more about who you are and what you've done. So you got a lot of things you got your hands in when it comes to real estate, which I think is impressive from investing, to just being a real estate agent, having a team, and then having your design company. So out of all the things that you do, what's the most exciting thing and the funnest part of the job right now, I guess, for you?
Right now, honestly, the interior design new business is only because it's been something since I was a little girl that I've always wanted to do. And it was kind of why I even ventured into the real estate world 12 years ago.
Yeah.
So to see that I'm finally getting to mix the two together and do them is exciting.
Yeah, so as you've kind of gone through your real estate career, you've done a lot of stuff, right? You at one point, I think right when I met you, you were not even here. You were traveling with your husband in the RV that y'all bought and renovated and flipped that. So you've always had your own little spin on everything you've done. So, you know, what as a kid, what kind of got you inspired to do that?
I don't know. I remember I just always rearranged my room in the house. Every week I was rearranging my bedroom or the house. And my mom or my nanny would come home and be like, what are you doing? Like, I just got bored with it, or I'd see it better in a different light, like it in a different way. I was hanging wallpaper at 12 and 13 and removing wallpaper. I worked in a florist shop, putting flowers together. To me, that was still, it all still some type of design.
In my mind, you're always someone who's always been very fashionable as well. Like, there's a level that I can always attribute that where someone who likes the idea of style and styling things, whether it's an outfit or it is a place like a room.
She gives me that same compliment too.
No, I do not. Maybe the opposite. No, I'm just kidding. But so it's, as someone, as an investor, a lot of people think, oh, you must, love styling houses. I was like, I couldn't tell you the first freaking thing. I got fired from picking out the colors in houses. And I one time brought the stuff out to stage, the stuff to stage it. And the agent at the time was like, girl, put that back in. That will hurt the value of the house. I don't have that bone in my body.
Yeah.
And I'm just, I think I may have told you this before, but I'm even with I'm glad they let me out of the house with what the outfits I pick for myself sometimes, right? But you've always had that touch as long as I've known you. And so I can see it being pretty cool for what you do. And so interior design, what does that look like for you?
It's a lot of things, honestly. I mean, I get text messages all the time, like, here's a picture of my living room. Tell me what I can do with it. And in 2 seconds, I don't know where I get it from in my head and how it works like that, but I could literally send you back something right away and tell you exactly what needs to happen and change. And they'll be like, how did you just do that?
Yeah.
So I don't really quite know, but I mean, even with event planning, I feel like it all goes together. So if you can design and decorate, you can throw an amazing party.
Yeah.
You might just need the leverage for all the other moving parts if you don't have it.
Yeah.
But they just all go together. So decorating, fashion, events.
I will say I am picking a wedding planner right now, and my fear was that some of them were just going to be good at decorating, but they weren't good at logistics. And one of them showed themselves when we scheduled a whole bunch of appointments with wedding planners to interview them. And one of them forgot about us and didn't show. So hey, I'm so sorry. I was just juggling a lot with the holidays. And I was like, well, you're going to be juggling a lot with our wedding day. I'm like things but no things, right?
Yeah, you got to be able to juggle
the logistics part.
The logistic part.
For sure. But nonetheless, I literally just went through that.
And if you can't do it, we all know you got to get some leverage.
For sure.
Absolutely.
So how do you tie that into your real estate career? So, I mean, again, 12 years ago, you say you got into the real estate business. How was your first start, and how do you implement all this stuff into your business?
I had a 5-year plan. I went to Bold my first year in, probably within my first 3 months. And for those that don't know, it's an awesome real estate class. But
it's open. It's
open to any industry, which is great. But it teaches you to have a 5-year plan, which I had no idea what I was doing. But so my 5-year plan was I wanted to be a one-stop shop. So I wanted to be a builder, a stager, a real estate agent. Like, you know, if I couldn't find you a house, I would build you a house.
Nice.
You know, that kind of thing. But it was all wrapped around interior design. I was new to the North Shore. I didn't really come from any jobs that had like a clientele or a database. So I was like, I can't just start off doing design because I don't know anybody.
Yeah.
And no one knows me.
And nobody knows me. I was like, so if I can get a name and a brand through real estate, then eventually I can be all of the things. So, and that was right after building my own house and GCing it out in Windermere. So that's kind of when I really was like, I can do this. You know, drew it on a napkin, built it in 4 months, and you know, so. But yeah, that's kind of where it all started. And then real estate, my first year, I sold 24 deals as a solo agent. Decided to start my
Your
team
first year?
for
And
some
12 years
leverage.
ago, that's 2012. That's when the market was tough still.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say what 2008 was like, but
2012, there
2012
was
was
still
still-
reverberations of it because, that's my, I can't speak from experience.
it was a great first year, and it's crazy because it wasn't even my goal to do that many deals. I didn't even have to work at the time. I was just a stay-at-home mom. I did it because I was bored. You know, like I just wanted something else. And after finishing the house, I was like, okay, why not? Let's just do it. It's a perfect time. And I told myself the whole first year, the only thing I was going to do is learn how to be a realtor. I was going to go to every class and every training that I could go to. I didn't care if I didn't sell one house that year. And I sold 24. And I went to probably 6 months of training that year.
I think that mindset about like, I'm just going to, number one, focus on this one thing and take every class that I can. Like that, I love that because I'm a firm believer that when you get the right education and the right, basically, not like YouTube University, we can learn about 1,000 things in 10 minutes, you know, but like a lot of education on one topic can really accelerate your growth. And it's, obvious, like 24 deals, it's
I knew
very
I
impressive.
was coming into a market that had so many seasoned agents, you know, the Stevie Macks, the Jennifer Rices, like all those names that like everybody knew. You know, I remember getting into real estate and Kim Higgins was a thing back then. And I thought she owned KW. Like I thought she was KW. Like little did I know that she was just an agent. She wasn't even with KW. But yeah, like just immersing myself to learn as much so where I could compete. Cause I didn't want to be like, oh, I'm a brand new agent and I don't know nothing.
Yeah.
know?
As an agent, where were you learning?
All the stuff that KW had. I mean, I would travel out of state. And I mean, that's also how I built my network of referral agents. And so
Yeah, because you do a ton of
referrals.
So when you decided to take the step and invest in a team, did you follow the MREA?
I did.
Yeah.
I did follow the MREA. That's a great book. I can't say I've read it multiple times, like some people from start to finish, but the pieces and parts that I needed, I definitely invested in that book. The book was great. It helped me a lot, especially I was still a new agent 1 year in. I didn't know nothing about nothing.
Yeah.
But the biggest my team has ever been in was like 7 of us, I believe.
Yeah.
And now it's just me and marketing and admin, which is great.
I think it's fun working with people who are visionaries that have that type of mindset. They have their hands in a couple of different things, but they also have the humility to know that they need support, people on their team, so that they can, if they have an issue that comes up, they've got systems around them that help their business continue to grow while they're focusing on solving a problem.
Well, you have the common visionary threat is they have their hands in too many things and it sinks them. And so like
I was just gonna say, like, that's a thing too. The book, The One Thing, is great, and like everybody should really have a one thing. And so in my head though, design is my one thing, and I just find a way to put it all together to where I can still get away with doing it as my one thing.
Yeah.
But
I love that you say design is your one thing because, and through that, was there a process to come to deciding what your one thing was?
I don't think I really knew it until now, honestly.
Like, what do you mean by that?
I mean, I've always had like a why since getting into real estate, because they teach you to have a big why or a reason, and like I never really had that.
Yeah.
So through all the exercises and journaling and everything that they teach you to do, like it was, my main thing was to just get my husband out the oil refineries, because I
Yeah.
was tired of being the wife that was home and hardly got to see him because he traveled so much, which is why we got the RV and I started traveling with him and all that, which was great because we got to travel the world. But he was working 120 hours a week and
Yeah.
I was home. So my why was always to get him out of that.
Yeah.
Like that, my whatever opportunities I could help create through the people that I met and stuff. And so the subdivision was the biggest thing. Like that got us out. And it got him doing something that he was good at and he loved to do, is project managing. That's what he did in the refineries. So
Yeah.
it just kind of all came full circle. And now design is the easiest way for me to put my finger on it, because a subdivision is design, event planning is design, interior decorating is a design, selling houses is a design. Like it all just kind of goes together.
Yeah.
Yeah. And have you ever heard of the 7 levels?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was actually just going through this the other day with someone, is just the 7 levels of your why. If you don't have a big why and a definitive why, it can be hard to make it through the difficult days.
Well, now I need a new one because I got him out of them. I mean, we're out of them and we're doing other
Yeah,
things.
keep him out of it. But I think that it's interesting that, sometimes you talk about real estate investing, people will start out with property management, or they'll start out with wholesaling, and they'll kind of whittle their way into investing in real estate because you learn a little bit about the game if you do it that way, and you have some income coming in while you're doing it. And I think from what you're telling me, you've maybe accomplished what you had to accomplish, but you have to continue to move forward in order for that to stay your reality. And so, you have the income stream, the income from your real estate business that you have, but then you have the other business you're trying to get moving, which is the staging company, and then you have the investments that are those bigger pops that you get throughout your career. So, but from a staging standpoint, I know that you're kind of early on with that business. You just started it recently. Whenever you finished your flip, so how's that growing? Like, what's the plan for that company, and how are you leveraging that with your real estate business? Are you telling your clients that you're working with that, hey, I can help you with this aspect of it? Or you're totally marketing that separate from your real estate company?
Both. I am telling my clients and I'm marketing it separately. And I don't do the typical staging where like
You're
if you
moving the
need,
U-Haul of stuff around.
yeah, like I don't rent the stuff for you and bring it in and all that. I work with what you got, or I tell you what to go get. But like I'm not a moving company. To me, with a staging company, that's what I would have to be. And I just feel like I can do better than that.
Yeah.
I think that's huge because so many people, they fear that the big cost with staging is like, I have to go buy all these things.
Yeah, no, I can repurpose stuff. I'll tell you how to repurpose stuff. We can paint it, we can move it, we can do so many things that you don't have to go buy something.
Hell, I'm just laughing in my head because when the cleaners come and clean my house, sometimes I'm like, hey, this room looks different. Oh, it's because it's not cluttered. I'm like, or like whatever.
I mean,
Or the
sometimes
cleaners
just
move
moving
little
one
things.
picture from one spot to the next is going to totally transform the space.
Yeah, and I think that stuff's, huge, which, I mean, you were talking about earlier about working with like estates and successions and, these probate situations where, I mean, some of those are, you're trying to do as much as you can for the estate, but working with what you have.
Yeah.
And maybe you have it where you're working with a whole bunch of old crusty stuff. I'm trying to be nice here. But you're like, okay, but how can I put this forth in the best light?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? We're going to go from this is old and crusty to, well, we're now going vintage chic. And like, how can I
I think a
arrange
lot of
this?
people get lost into interior design because they think that they have to have like this $5,000 chair or this $400 plant or whatever. Like I can literally take you to Dollar General and transform your house if that's what your budget allows.
Yeah.
Right.
So
it's your eye. It's not your pocketbook.
yeah.
And I think that's huge, and that's one of those things where it's kind of like it's not that either you have it or you don't have it. I think some of it can be learned as well.
Yeah, for sure.
But there's for sure a strong you have it as well though. But I mean, yeah, you can, and that's where your eye, when you walk in, you can see some things. I think that's huge because a lot of times people are not going to be, they're very commonly they're not going to see it themselves. And if you can help draw them
and
into
times
that.
are hard right now. Everything's expensive. And so I think people are intimidated about doing something with their house. But it ties into real estate because it's like if you do need to sell your house and your money's tight and you don't have all this money to like hire an interior decorator to buy all these new things, like, I mean, I can work within the smallest budget whatsoever, and get you.
Well, and I think that's huge because I can't tell you how many houses when if you don't put your best foot forward with the house, especially in this market where there's starting to be more inventory. It's more of a buyer's market, more inventory to choose from.
Yeah, it's stacking up.
I mean, on the investor
Good
side,
thing, right?
Depends on if you're the seller
depends
or
on
the
who.
buyer.
Yeah, depends on if
who
you're
you're representing.
Well, but at the end of the day, though, it's like, so in the investor world, when the market was really great, it was a really strong seller's market, the 2021 type market, interest rates are low, multiple offers, all this stuff. I mean, you can put a piece of crap out there and that thing was going to sell.
Yeah, it didn't matter how cluttered or dirty or whatever the house looked
all
like.
that stuff, but
people could see
now-
past it.
So I myself am not a big flipper, but I talk to a lot of my flipper friends, right? And so a lot of my flipper friends are like, you have to have the best product at a competitive rate right now. And a huge part of that, how do you put your foot forward, right, with it? And so, so many people don't think about those aspects. They're just, again, they're either stuck in la la land of a previous day where just put it up for sale. They're not thinking, let me put my best foot forward. And I can see that being a strong point of yours when working with clients of being like, hey, look, when I list your house, these are the things I'm looking at. Because then you get the agent who either respectfully or disrespectfully is going to be like, let me just take some photos with my cell phone and oops, this one's blurry or upside down, or, and it's like, or they're not really highlighting the house. And so they're missing
Oh, yeah.
a lot.
Well, and going into photography, since you brought it up, I mean, you also have to have the best doing it on the phone that's not going to work because the angle of the room is just as important as what is in the room. So you can
Or
have
the lighting of it.
the
Yeah.
same, like 3 different photographers take a picture of the same room. And if they're not in the right angle, it ain't going to look good.
Yeah.
And
Doesn't
y'all
matter
all
the
know
cost
who
of
I
the
use.
furniture.
I told him I'd give him a shout out. So Ken, we love you, Ken Schallenberg. But I've been using him for 12 years
Yeah, Ken's great.
on all my properties. And I mean, looking at before and afters, from different photographers is just
Yeah.
crazy.
Ken's great. He also makes your headshot look really good too.
Yeah,